Hey everyone, welcome to the Deadpool movie-oli review-ioli.
Exactly.
We're gonna review Deadpool because we just finished it. Do you wanna
to completion?
Yeah, we even watched the post-credit sequence.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a thing where it's like we kind of give brief thoughts with no spoilers and then dive into spoilers?
Sure. I mean, yeah.
All right. So, click here if you want to get to the spoiler discussion. So, Chucky.
Yeah.
What did you think of the movie?
It was very funny, very good. It was a Deadpool movie, for sure. It's like comic book on this big screen.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like.
Honestly.
It was, had a lot more heart than I thought it would.
Yeah,
like,
right.
it was a movie. It wasn't just like a long string of Deadpool scenes.
Yeah.
You know?
I honestly fucking hated it. No, I'm
It
kidding.
sucked. It was terrible.
No, it was great.
We're being paid by Tim Miller.
Yeah.
Director.
It was great. If you go into this Deadpool movie being like, I just want to see a Deadpool movie, I hope they do Deadpool really well, it's the perfect movie.
Yeah.
This movie is a Deadpool movie.
Yeah. Everything you hate and love about Deadpool is in this movie.
And honestly, what you just said, I was actually kind of worried about going in, because while I have expressed excitement and being like, and I quote, too good to be true, I'm quoting myself, I was worried it was going to be just a bunch of Deadpool scenes making up this movie.
Right.
But it was like a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah, it was really good. It was surprisingly he wasn't in the suit for most of it. I think maybe like 30% of the movie he was in the suit, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds plays Wade Wilson pretty much the same both in the suit and out the suit.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of Ryan Reynolds playing Wade Wilson / Deadpool, he was fucking amazing.
He was really good. It was the role he was born to play.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else to play that role.
It doesn't. No one else comes to mind. I always say that, like,
he even has like the perfect voice for Deadpool.
Yeah, definitely. I always say that people, everyone's like, oh, I can't imagine anyone else playing him. But if someone else had gotten cast, you could probably say the same thing. But just right now in this universe, Ryan Reynolds is a great fit.
Yeah, and a huge step up from the original Deadpool he played in X-Men Origins.
Yeah,
because that movie was bad.
Yeah, at the end at least, he was an okay Wade Wilson. He was just not a very good Deadpool.
Yeah.
So.
Weapon X Deadpool, if you will.
Ugh.
So yeah,
they reference that multiple times throughout the movie.
To sum up this spoiler-free talk, because we want to keep it short, it was directed very well, I thought.
Oh yeah, the fight scenes were really well put together.
Fight scenes, like that's how you put together a fight scene. The comedy, it was so funny. I laughed my ass off multiple times.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to be this like raunchy.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's a Marvel movie, through and through, and by through and through, I mean like it's a Marvel movie, and it had like extreme nudity in it. Yeah, it was like extreme.
You know what I mean? I feel like it could have definitely been put out by Marvel instead of 20th Century Fox. I feel like Marvel could have done this movie if they wanted to do an R movie, and that's what it felt like. It felt like a movie Marvel would have done with the X-Men in an R-rated setting.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I feel like. Like Guardians of the Galaxy with Deadpool. Like that kind of vein.
Speaking of X-Men, it's not a spoiler because it's in the trailers. Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead were great too.
They were great.
They were hilarious.
She was great.
Especially Colossus. He was so funny.
Yeah, you gotta eat your breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's both the port of the meal of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, directed very nicely. It was really funny. I can't really think of too much I didn't like about it. It was like the perfect Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
What did you not like? I know you're like all big on.
No, I'm just like I've read reviews and I agree with a lot of them. I didn't think the plot was bad. I thought the plot was pretty good. The villain was kind of like you didn't really. They were hardly in it.
He didn't really seem like a very comic booky villain.
Well, he seemed very over the top. Like he was just evil. That was the issue. But there's no like why? There's no motivation there. Yeah. Like that was definitely the weakest part of the movie, but it didn't detract from it. Just the fact that it was just a vehicle for him to kill people.
Yeah,
which was good.
It was just a plot device.
Yeah, it
was just so this villain pretty much made it so the plot could happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna give it a number rating, but I will say definitely go see it. I think anybody, fan of Deadpool or not, will enjoy this movie. Just be prepared to see extreme nudity if that makes you uncomfortable because it's in this.
If you're easily offended, you probably won't like it. If you don't enjoy occasional childish humor, you probably wouldn't like it.
Has a lot of cursing in it as well.
Yeah, a lot of nudity, a lot of sexual references and acts in it. Yeah. So
But if that doesn't bother you, it's a
Yeah.
great film, and you should definitely check it out. So, spoiler talk now.
Yeah.
Warning.
So you're gonna clap.
No.
It's like,
Spoiler talk.
see his dick.
Ah!
You see his dick.
You do. You see Ryan Reynolds as a wee-wee.
Yeah.
His grotesque. It was kind of like silhouetted, but you
Yeah.
see it flopping around.
Yeah. See,
and
I went into it knowing it would happen, and I was looking for it. I was like, okay, it's not going to be that big, because Ryan Reynolds is not going to do it. And then I was like, oh, there it is. You can see it.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
It was a really intense scene to have his dick.
It was.
Like-
He was fighting the villain in a flaming building, completely naked.
Yeah, and it was so serious. He wasn't cracking jokes, but then, I mean, I feel as though there wasn't really a reason for him to be naked in that scene besides just to show off his scarred body, I guess. But
Yeah. Show off what he's fighting for.
but effective, yeah. You got the sense that he was vulnerable and naked.
Yeah, and then
Definitely.
because he lost the fight, and you were just like, "Damn, dude, he got his ass kicked, and he's
There's
naked."
another thing. What happened to the pole that was in him? Did it just disintegrate? Like, I don't understand what happened, because he was stuck in the ground, right?
Yeah.
With this like question mark pole or whatever. And then he wakes up and he's just moving all around and he's fine. Like,
Yeah.
did his healing factor just incorporate that into his body?
I assume what happened was, since the building was burning, his general vicinity, his pole baredness collapsed.
Okay.
And then his healing factor like pushed it out.
Right.
Because I know that happens with like Wolverine and stuff. There's something inside of him. It like it like go
Okay.
and it squirts it out.
Could have melted too if it was hot enough.
I think that's what happened to the pole.
Yeah. Totally expecting Wolverine cameo.
I was too. There was a lot of like pseudo Wolverine cameos.
Yeah, oh my
and by
God.
Wolverine cameos, I mean
Hugh
he
Jack-
says a name that rhymes with Wolverine. I think he said Pulverine.
Yeah.
And we see Hugh Jackman everywhere.
Hugh Jackman's face was all over this
Everywhere.
movie. Everywhere.
And dude, at the end when she takes off the mask
And
it's a Hugh Jackman mask,
face.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
No,
and I laughed my ass
it was
off.
great.
That was so good.
There were a lot of moments that just came out of nowhere, but felt like genuine almost.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like when at the end, right at that scene when she's like, it's a face that I'll sit on.
Yeah.
It's like that was great. It's like
Oh,
they set up
dude.
that relationship perfect. That relationship was amazing.
It was awesome. Oh, and his friend, I don't know his friend's name.
Weasel.
Yeah, Weasel.
T.J. Miller,
When
great actor.
when he was when they were stacking up all the guns, and he was just like, "I'd go with you, but I don't want to."
Yeah,
like that was so
but I
good.
don't want to. You want to get fucked up? everyone in that movie was
The movie-
except for the villains. Everyone in that movie was perfect. It was just
This movie was like I said in the parking lot. This movie was like the perfect blend of serious ass kicking badassery and
Yeah.
just flat out hilarity. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was a
but it
good-
was also so cool.
good mix of action, actual drama, and comedy. And I felt as though like everywhere I was reading was saying that like the plot felt very thin and generic, but I don't really think so. It felt like I don't know if we have seen it. I guess X-Men Origins was kind of a revenge thing, and so was like there are a few of the X-Men movies have been, and there have been other revenge superhero movies, but just Deadpool's revenge arc and the whole plot around him just seemed kind of fresh, at least with his take on it. And the flashback thing I thought was really cool. How it started you like in the midst, like right before the final battle almost, and then it kind of jumped back and jumped forward and jumped back. That was neat.
I also loved at the end of the flashbacks when he gets in the taxi, he's like, "We all know what starts from here." Like that was so cool.
The fourth wall
like,
breaking was
that's another thing. Him breaking the fourth wall was like amazing.
Yeah.
I love the first time it happens too, because he's like known for breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Like it kind of happens when he like takes the gum off the camera, but like it really happens when he's just sitting there. It's like, oh hey.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a movie.
I got my own movie now.
Yeah.
Never thought this would happen. Whose balls did I have to lick to get this movie?
like it rhymes with Wolverine.
It was. Oh my god.
It was great. It was
so good. It was also a great incorporation of like humor in the action.
Yeah, like
even the
quips.
fighting scene was like really funny.
Yeah, like quips or certain moves that he would do that would just took you out of it.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Not took you out of it in a bad way, but. And like I feel like that's a movie you have to watch like 3 or 4 times just to get all the comedy in it and to get to properly watch it because
and to get all the references. There were so many references.
A lot of references.
It was like ridiculous.
I feel there are a lot that people might not even like get really. Like if you don't know actors' names, you wouldn't understand. There was a joke about the two Professor X is in there. Was it McAvoy or Stewart? I can't keep track of all this timeline shit.
Stewart or McElroy.
Yeah, McAvoy. James McAvoy.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't know who the names of the actors who play Professor X, you wouldn't have known that. If you are not a fan of the X-Men movies, still see it, but you're going to be totally lost. Like, just the fact, like, X-Men play a big part in it, which I like. I think there have been...
He's, like, I'm not a big comic book fan, you are.
Yeah.
Isn't he, like, hugely involved in the X-Men universe?
He's from the same, like, the X-Men Origins kind of did his origin kind of okay, in terms of, like, he was from the Weapon X program originally, and he does have the same kind of healing factor as Wolverine. He teams up with him a lot, but in terms of, like, general... thing, the X-Men is the people who he associates with the most, but he kind of goes in and out of everyone. Everyone knows who Deadpool is in the comic book universe. He's actually a part of one of the Avengers. In the comic books currently, I don't know if it's changed since the series launched, but he's currently part of the new Avengers team, and he actually bankrolls them because he's getting so much money off of merchandising in the comic books that he can afford to pay the Avengers.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like him and Squirrel Girl. I think Squirrel Girl's on the team. No. That's a different team. There's like 10 different Avengers teams.
Fuck that.
But yeah.
See, too many comic book shit.
So
there's so many other references. Like when he picks up the action figure from the X-Men Origins Deadpool, that was awesome.
That was really funny.
And then
and when he hovered on it for a minute too.
Yeah, and then when he like just as like a huge fuck you to like. Oh, and then when the guy's like, "I'll sew your mouth shut," and he was like, "Oh, that's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that."
Yeah,
like,
I was
referencing that as well.
I was really hoping like it would be followed up by like the audience won't like it.
Yeah, and like.
That's one thing.
The Green Lantern reference too. When he's being wheeled into the chair, it's like, make sure my suit's not green or animated. Like really it was so good. God.
There was one thing I was hoping for with the movie is that I love scenes where they acknowledge the fourth wall breaking, like the other characters. Like he says something to the camera, but no one ever responded to it. Like he was like, "I'm not talking to you," and he's staring directly into the camera, and they're like, who's he talking to then? Like no one ever referenced that directly, which I would have thought would be funny if he played it off like, oh, whatever. But other than that, the character was just spot on. He was Ryan Reynolds.
In the comics, does anybody reference that he breaks the fourth wall?
Occasionally, they call him crazy. There isn't one comic I remember reading where he's fighting. He goes to this like Asian temple or something. He's climbing up steps, and I forget what the context of it is, but he directly references Naruto. And he said something like. Like I'm a ninja, believe it, or something like that. And someone goes, "What are you fucking talking about?" Without fucking, they might have like blurted it out, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, so like they do acknowledge it occasionally. I think in the comic books, it's kind of old hat at this point. Like they're like, "He's crazy. You're not just ignore it." But in the movies, he's known X-Men or Colossus for a little bit, but I feel it's like that's it.
I kind of like the movie that how, aside from that one moment when Colossus is like, "Who are you talking to?" or like, where he's like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them." Like I kind of like how nobody paid attention to it because they didn't like break character to stop and then continue when Deadpool like started again. It was kind of like they were frozen in the moment so Deadpool can talk.
Right.
Like for example, when they're walking to the final fight and the music's bumping and then Negasonic's like, "Where's your duffel bag?" And then it like. And then, like, when he's like, cue the music, like, nobody's just like chilling. They're just like in mid walk, kind of, and then they start walking again. Like,
well, he went back and then he said cue the music because he called the person up. So they didn't. I get what you're saying. They didn't stop. They didn't break out of character. They didn't exactly freeze. Because they kind of
because in that whole like moment when he's talking on the phone to the taxi driver, it like. That's not a moment when like time's frozen because then it would be frozen for the taxi driver in a way, right?
Yeah. So they were just kind of waiting. They were like,
they're just waiting. And then when that whole moment was done, it's like, all right, let's go back. And they like went back in the walking position, and then he was like, cue the music.
They were playing along with it,
and then they continued. So I thought that was really clever how it's integrated like that. And I thought the coolest fourth wall break was what I said in the parking lot again. It was when he flashed back to the old lady in the laundromat, and he's like, "Whoa, a fourth wall break within a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. Like, oh god.
Yeah.
I can't express how good it was. Like
good jokes.
The whole time I was watching, I was just like, I can't believe they pulled this off.
You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for like something really dumb to happen.
Yeah, I was like, it's gonna get bad, but like no, it would like it stayed up and up and up. Yeah. And that whole plot device, dude, like you're right, but like you said before, like it didn't take me out of the movie. Like I didn't care.
Yeah, no,
it was just like I just wanted to see Deadpool do his thing. It was so cool.
Yeah, you think about it at the end, maybe if you're thinking about it afterward, but while you're in the movie, you're like, it's really fun.
Like,
it's really great.
And like we said in the spoiler-free part, it's just like a way to propel the story forward because it starts off with him trying to find the dude because he wants to look normal again, and then the dude steals his girlfriend, and then it starts off him trying to get his girlfriend back. Like, so it's just a way to drive the story forward and just let Deadpool be Deadpool, and it was great.
Which is what
Deadpool was Deadpool.
Exactly what the movie needed, and they pulled it off. Ryan Reynolds is credit to him. He's been trying to get it made for 10 years, apparently. Well, I was just reading an article. Apparently, he was approached to do the role. Like, they said, hey, listen, we want you to do Deadpool. And then it never happened. And then when X-Men Origins came around, they're like, listen, Deadpool's going to be in this movie. Do you want to play him? And Ryan Reynolds was like, well, this might be my only chance. So sure. They fucked it up. And then they still tried to keep the movie getting made. But I always thought he had approached them, like, I want to play Deadpool. But they brought it to him, and then he's like, this is the best thing ever. I want to play this character.
I told you this earlier, but I read a, like, thing on comicbook.com where it said Ryan Reynolds is 70% sure he didn't leak test footage. And another thing, apparently the movie was greenlit like hours after the test footage leaked.
That wasn't the thing I was just reading. He was doing an interview with, I think, LA Times, and they asked, or it was, I think it was LA Times, and they asked, the only people who could have leaked this would have been you, the director, or the screenwriters. And he goes, I'll tell you this, it was one of us, is what he said.
Well, whoever it was,
yeah,
hats off to you, because you're fucking awesome.
And then he said right after, he's like, that was not supposed to be footage that was supposed to be leaked to the public. That was just internally what the world would have looked like. And he said, without a doubt, that was the only thing that influenced their decision. Literally, the only thing that got the movie greenlit was the positive reaction to the test footage. And then they started doing their thing. They settled on a middle budget, and Fox was like, do whatever you want. Yeah. Here's your budget. Don't go over. And then they had to cut $8 million, something like that, from the end, like right before the movie was released.
$7 million.
Was it something like that?
I also read that somewhere.
And I forget what they cut some villains out, like the Angel character was supposed to be 3 different characters. Yeah. And they just reduced it to one role instead. So, which, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't have added much if there was 2 other people. Kind of would have diluted it a little bit, I think. In fact, I think it would have been better if it was just the actual main guy. Like, she didn't really. That scene with her boob falling out with Colossus, that was really
they
great.
needed to give Colossus a challenge, or else he just would have destroyed Deadpool's villain. Yeah, so
Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
They were great.
And NTW. Yeah, I think. I don't know if she's a real comic character. I think she is. Yeah,
no, she is. But like I said, I'm not well versed in the comic book world. Yeah. But if I am correct, that's not her power though. Her power is more of like a telepathy type power. Okay. But they made her look like this, I guess, to fit her name more.
Yeah, it was like a bomb almost. Yeah, which is really cool.
She was like a torpedo of sorts.
Well, it wasn't like what I gathered was she kind of like always crouched down a little bit and then exploded. So I feel like she just harnesses power.
And then she just blows up.
Yeah. Right? So when she was running, she was just kind of directing that. But like usually she just blows up in like a big explosion, which I think is a really interesting power.
Another thing, the first time she uses it to kill somebody. Like to make the
truck go into the
crush fly into them. Yeah. Like you heard the crunch, and it's like that was a Deadpool that did that. That was like an X-Men character doing like a brutal kill. Yeah, that was extreme.
That would be really cool. I think if they make when they make Deadpool 2, because it's going to do good. I feel like when they make Deadpool 2, I would really like to see her again and kind of like gravitate towards Deadpool and Colossus be really upset with it. Yeah. Or what I would really like to see is. Never gonna happen, at least not until they like do another trilogy, because Apocalypse is like the last trilogy, or the last in the First Class trilogy. I would really like to see Deadpool as the new Wolverine, like the connecting tissue, because it's perfect. Like he could go in any movie and do anything he wants, and it always makes sense. Like
even if he's not Deadpool's character is.
Yeah, and
he's like everywhere.
They can just acknowledge him if they want. They don't have to acknowledge him. He can team up with them and help him out, and he would totally work in a PG-13 setting in a different movie.
Because he can just break the fourth wall and be like, I can't curse like I used to.
Yeah, or like was it you who I was talking about too, or somebody else saying if like the whole movie he would always, I think it was somebody else who would always you could say one fuck in a PG-13 movie, and every single time he's about to say it, he holds it. It's like, I gotta wait till later, and then Wolverine says it at one point, and he's just like, I was gonna say that. That was me holding up the whole time.
That would be awesome.
I think that'd be really cool. Just him acknowledging like the conventions of the rating system.
Oh, before I forget to say, I want to compliment Deadpool's costume.
Yeah,
it was good. They even had the little the pouch to make it look like a sock.
Yeah,
it was really cool, and the eyes. Oh my! Because I feel like when it comes to like superhero costumes, the eyes are so easy to mess up.
Yeah,
because especially because he's not wearing like a Batman mask. It's like white things, and they were so good.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not too many characters who have that. Like when you think of other characters, like Captain America has the eye slits, and that's like a thing in his character. Iron Man just has like the static eyes. They don't do any emotion. I think really it's like Spider-Man and Deadpool are two of the ones I can think of who have that.
And Spider-Man's eyes don't move. I mean, like they kind of do in the comics, right?
Yeah,
not in the movies,
probably.
But like Deadpool in the movie, they were so good at portraying the emotion
through
his pupilless, expressionless eyes. It was like it was so good.
Even the mouth and the mouth moved, and the thing was really good.
Yeah,
yeah, it was. Everything about that, like you could tell they poured so much love into it, and it'll be interesting to see how Deadpool 2 goes, because I think it's already been greenlit. I hear they're already writing the sequel. It's already been, like, Fox said.
Apparently, according to Deadpool, it's going to have Cable in it.
I think that was probably more tongue in cheek, because everyone's like, it has to have Cable in it.
Because everybody wants Cable.
Everyone wants Cable.
But if they did, that'd be fucking cool.
It would be great. A time travel movie with Deadpool would be fucking awesome. Because do you know who Cable is?
I don't know of his character, but I have and I own Marvel vs. Capcom and Deadpool. No, and Cable is a great character.
Yeah. So Cable is the son of Cyclops and a clone of Jean Grey, who lives in the future and travels through time and tries to travel back through time to kill Apocalypse, I believe. He's like a big time traveler. Like that's his thing. And from what I understand of the character, he is like totally straight-laced. Like he's the opposite of Deadpool, and I guess that's why they get along so well. I think there's actually a miniseries out right now, Cable and Deadpool, split second or something like that. But I think a time travel movie would be perfect, and it would be a great way to kind of continue Deadpool on without becoming a franchise, you know, because it would just kind of be lame if he became like a franchise. Every movie was the same thing. That would be really great if every Deadpool movie was just totally different. A time travel movie with another big giant straight guy, it's like not straight guy, but like straight faced guy, straight laced, straight edge, straight edge guy. There we go.
Live by the code.
Yeah, like that kind of guy. It's kind of samey to Colossus, but in the same time, the time travel aspect would be really cool. But the fact that it's going to be greenlit so soon, and it's going to probably have a bigger budget, hopefully not, because I think they kind of did really well with the budget they get. It didn't feel like a middle budget movie. It felt like a big budget, but it was middle budget.
Felt like way high up there.
Yeah, and the industry needs, like, this is industry talk, but from what I understand, the industry needs more middle budget movies so that they can get made. It's like right now it's indies and blockbusters, and you have those middle budget, you can have more people making movies and making interesting things. But will they do as good of a job when they have 2 years to make the movie as opposed to 10 years? Because the script was written 5 years ago. They've had the script solidified and ready to go for 5 years. And they were asked to make a PG-13 rating, and they were asked to cut the budget, but the main script has been in place the whole time. Yeah. And they had time to think about it. They had time to film it, presumably. They had time to think about, like, where it was going and possibly for ideas for a sequel. But from scratch, writing it, is it going to be good? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be the same? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How are they going to do?
I think the writers have proven that they know how to make Deadpool films. Yeah. So
are the writers going to work on it again? That's the other thing. They switch up, but
I hope they keep the right ones. I feel like I'm not one of the writers, obviously, but I feel like if I was in their shoes, I'd be like, this movie was so much fun to write. Yeah. Of course I'm going to write the other ones.
They from what I've read, they seem like they like it. But I know Ryan Reynolds is now, his next project is trying to get X-Force, which is an X-Men spinoff. Not sure who the characters are. I think Cable's involved in that. But he's like, I want that off the ground. That's my next goal. I want an X-Force movie with Cable and probably Deadpool in it. So he seems to be focusing on something else, but as long as Deadpool's in it, as long as Deadpool stays in that universe, it'd be really great.
Yeah, it would be. God, it was so good.
It was a good movie. You should definitely say it if you like superheroes, Deadpool, X-Men, anything like that. Yeah. You know.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
It's been kind of long. All right, so final words on the Deadpool film. This movie, like I said before, I was worried that it was too good to be true, and it was great. Mm-hmm. Like, they exceeded my expectations. Like I said, I was worried it was going to be a Deadpool scene to Deadpool scene to Deadpool scene to make it, like, funny. Oh, this is so Deadpool. Yeah. But no, it was, like, an amazing film. They pulled Deadpool off perfectly. Yeah. And like you said before, this movie has a lot of heart. Like, they really took their time. They really cared about what they were doing. It wasn't like, oh, just another superhero film. Like, no, this is something special.
Yeah, well,
like,
not even.
I really like this.
Not
movie.
even like pouring their heart into it, but it had dramatic backbone. Like, you cared about the characters. Like, they're really, really well.
It was so good.
I think my final words will have to be what this bottle cap is telling me. You can't see it. It says sell.
Sell.
There you go.
My bottle cap doesn't. Blank. I'm speechless.
See,
for how
mine
good this movie
has
was.
good financial advice. Sell.
Deadpool. Sell.
Don't sell your ticket. See the movie.
Yeah, see the movie. It was great. You won't be disappointed. If you have an idea, an iota of a thought of what you might be getting into, go see it.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
If you're disappointed, then talk to us and we'll make sure you aren't disappointed.
Yeah, we'll try to put you in a better mood with the Deadpool love. It was great.
Yeah.
So, I'm Steve.
I'm Chuck.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.